everybody, and welcome to a live event that we are putting on for you today with Darren Live. As many of you, I see familiar faces. You know Darren Live, that's a good Tuesday. Right away, that's a good Tuesday. So welcome. If you are looking here for Darren for Elite Insights, you are in the right place. So congratulations for showing up today. This is for you, so I'm so glad you're here. I see so many people joining us from all over the world. Now, if you haven't paid attention to that chat, take a look over there. I saw France, Italy, Trinidad. I even saw Alaska. Hopefully you're staying nice and warm up there. I know it is beautiful and sunny here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I saw some other Arizonans in the chat with me. Atlanta, Minnesota, you guys, welcome. We're so excited that you have decided to join us on your Tuesday morning, afternoon, or evening, or in the middle of the night. I've seen all types of countries listed on the side there, so we're excited to get started today. Now, I know you're pumped to hear Darren, so am I, as we are going to start and hear things from Darren's Elite. Now, that is a group that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I'm so excited to hear what he has to say, as the Elite group are people that I get to work with personally each and every day. So I don't get to see behind the curtain of his Elite conversations. So I'm super pumped that he's going to be sharing with us today. So if you are a BMC alumni, please say here inside the chat. If you are a Insane Productivity alumni, say heck yes inside the chat. If you are a Riveting member, please say I am riveting inside the chat. It would be great to see and welcome our alumni to this special day. And we're so excited that you're here. Now, we are going to get started right at the top of the hour so Darren can give you the full time. And you don't want to hear from me, but you will later. So you want to hang on tight after today's session. So it's the top of the hour. So what does that mean? I get to introduce myself. My name is Brenda. I'm the VP of Member Success here on the Darren Hardy A team. And welcome to this live Elite Insight. For those of you that have not experienced Darren Live, buckle up, get ready, because we're about to go. So the way we get started on the A team, as we have rituals that we do to make sure we are fully present and ready. So what we do first is we clear the calculator. That means remove all distractions, turn that phone off, close that office door, turn off all the other tabs so you could be fully present. You showed up here, so let's make a count. And Mariana, while we're really on the topic of making a count, let's go ahead and shut down that chat. Don't worry, you'll be able to chat later. But right now, let's stay fully focused and fully present. So let's turn that off so everybody's right here, right here. All right. Then we're going to do something that gets us set for high performance learning. We are going to take a deep breath together. We have found this to be a vital piece of our starting ritual. So everybody, you're going to take a deep breath with me. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, in. And hold it. Let it out. Doesn't that feel better? You feel like you're fully here, right? Yep. Stuart, shake your head. I see you. Yes. All right. Now we're going to state the point and purpose. We get to get behind the scenes insights for Darren Hardy's Elite group that he takes on special walk and talks. And guys, like I said, I am so excited to hear about this, because this is something that I am able to set up personally with my team, that people fly across the country, wherever Darren is on the map. It's kind of a little Where's Waldo, where we go find Darren wherever he is, and these people go and get to spend 90 minutes with Darren and get his feedback. This is the only time that Darren does this. He does not do this for anybody else but our Elite group, and you guys get a backstage pass today. So without waiting, let's go ahead and bring on your mentor and mine, Mr. Darren Hardy.
Well, thank you, Bab. Excellent job. And Jake, you look sharp there in your suit and tie. Thank you for showing up. All right, everybody, welcome. I'm glad that you could clear your schedule to be here at this last minute session. I promise you'll be glad that you did. So as Brenda mentioned, over the last month or so, about a half a dozen elite business leaders have flown in to meet with me from all over the country, from New York, Tennessee, North Dakota, Washington, Chicago, to come to one of my home areas, whether it be in San Diego, South Beach, Miami, or here on the coast in South Carolina, for a private walk and talk. And it's just me and them, one-on-one, 90 minutes. No audience, no board members, no clients, no team members are present. Just honest and direct, straight talk about the real deal stuff that's going on inside their mind. They come from a multitude of industries, of those that I will introduce you to, from revenue from 8 million to hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And yet every one of them told me the same thing privately, that something has shifted in this market, and they cannot tell if it's a phase to push through or a permanent repricing of their entire category. And that is the part that they will not say in front of their team or their board or even their spouse. Because here's what they're actually seeing: the exact playbook that built their business, their current level of success, is producing less and less now every quarter. Their CAC, their customer acquisition costs, have crept up, and they can't pinpoint why. Their top reps are working harder for the same close rate. Customers who used to decide in a week are now taking a month. Margins are mysteriously thinning. Attention and engagement are harder to win and much harder to hold. And competition that they used to outpace and outproduce easily are suddenly pulling ahead. Now, mind you, every one of them is doing record revenue, but every one of them feels less certain about what they're doing and less in control than they were a year ago. That is the gut feeling they came to walk out with me. Not the numbers, their gut feelings, their nerve. Because record revenue with a thinning grip is the exact pattern that precedes a once category leader into one that starts to fade. If any of that sounds like your last quarter, be sure that you stay with me all the way to the end here, because what these leaders told me privately is exactly what is about to continue to separate the winners from the losers in this market, particularly over the next 6 to 18 months. The only question is, which side of this separation will you end up on? Now, if you are new to our world and don't understand what these elite walk and talks are all about, they are there because after 25 plus intense years flying around the world to build my media enterprises, Success TV and Success Magazine, I've arrived at a place where I no longer accept keynote invitations. I don't do in-person arena events. I don't speak at corporate events, and I don't hand out business cards in a mastermind room. The only one-on-one advising access to me these days is in one of these elite member private walk and talks. These are leaders who have invested over $100,000 or more in training resources for their team, and that is how they earn their way into one of these private sessions. And today, I'm going to give you one of those hours for free. I'm going to take you inside the patterns that I've witnessed over these last handful of private sessions. And I think you'll also gain some tremendous insights about how you will also navigate this modern business landscape. Okay. And let me tell you this straight up right here. Okay. Why am I doing this? You see, my job is to be a trusted advisor for leading CEOs and top small to mid-sized business leaders. So when I think something is critical for them to be made aware of, when I think bold action needs to be taken to adapt to disruption or to take advantage of an opportune timing, I am implored to sound the alarms and bang the rally time drum. This is one of those moments. Right now, as we sit here talking, this is one of the greatest inflection points in business history. Look, I know that you've heard it, but I don't think that you have heard it. AI is disrupting every standard practice, every well-worn strategy, every methodology that you've used to build your current success. All of it is being disrupted. Everything you know and how you do what you know needs recalibrating, and quickly. There will be a new divide between the haves and have-nots. And here's the deal. It doesn't matter who has it now and who doesn't have it now. This gap begins with who adapts and leverages AI faster, while the other side of the divide gets rendered irrelevant. Watch, it's already happening around you. New market leaders are rising out of seemingly nowhere, even in well-established markets. And well-established market leaders are being overrun and replaced. So every small move that you make now during this transitional period compounds the rest of this year and into the rest of your future. So, if you ask me, what's the most important advice that I have for anyone operating a business of any kind in this moment? This is what you showed up for, right? My advice? Well, here is my advice. Get to our business masterclass next week. Why? Because the timing is critical. There is where I can walk you through the recalibrated playbook, the one built for this economy, built for this AI inflection moment. If I did not strongly encourage you to be there, I would be failing you, failing my fiduciary responsibility to you as your trusted advisor. So right now, this is me doing my job. Get there, whatever it takes. I'm going to give you tons of value during this discussion, sharing my private insights with elite CEOs. So either way, you're going to get value in this meeting. But I am also here to offer you that advice. Be with us next week. It's really important. And look, I know that you already feel like you can't take on one more thing. And that's exactly why you want to be in this room with me next week. You see, I have done all the hard work for you. I've spent thousands of hours trying to figure this all out. And I've simplified it all down for you so that you don't have to figure it out alone. You won't leave our BMC with more to do. You will leave it with less to do, finally. Less to think about, thank God. Less to have to learn. And your 2 to 3 to 10x growth will be faster, it will be easier, and it will be more assured. So at the start here, that's my best advice that I could give you. Be at our business masterclass next week. Now, if Monday through Wednesday next week are tough for you, the VIP option gives you 14 days of recording access. But you do not want to get access to what I will distribute and the full year of support and associations that you'll get with your registration. And look, I'm covering all the financing as well. You can get in for as little as $769 now. Apply one strategy of the 500 that I will walk you through, and in under 30 days, pay the balance of your new profits. So then it's all free for you. So you can use the link provided. You can register in under a minute. You can do it even while we are still going here. Okay? So now, that's my top advice. But as promised, today I'm going to do something that I have never done before. I'm going to take you inside of some of the private walk and talk conversations that I've had with the leaders over the past just 30 days. There are 5 distinct patterns that I've watched these leaders wrestle with. And I guarantee at least one of them is hiding in your business right now. Your job in the next little bit here is to not nod along and be intellectually amused. Your job is to find yours. Find the pattern that is costing you the most money right now. And do not leave this meeting without a decision about it. Fair enough? All right. Let's go. Let's call this first lesson, the muscle that got you here will kill you. Your most expensive hour last week was not the one that you thought it was. It was the one that you thought was free. Let me prove it to you, okay? If your business is doing $2 million a year in owner cash flow, your time is worth around $500 an hour. If it's doing $3 million a year, you're at about $700 an hour. If you're doing what Ken, who I'm going to introduce you to here, is doing, your time is worth $900 an hour. So Ken owns an industrial safety supply company. He has one store in North Dakota. When he first came to BMC, he was doing $1,700 a month in revenue. Last year, he finished at over $8 million with a $1.8 million EBITDA. To help you with the math on that, that's a 470 times increase. Yet Ken hadn't adjusted his mindset and his leadership practices to his new revenue responsibilities, and he wasn't aware of how much it was costing him. And I most definitely think that you will find yourself in Ken's story. We've all been in Ken's story. Here's what was going on. Ken had just bought a building in Midland, Texas to open his second store. He didn't want to take the time to find the right contractors, so he gutted the building himself. He ran the electrical himself. He installed the plumbing himself. A man whose time is worth $900 an hour was under a sink with a pipe wrench. His reasoning? The contractor wanted 30 grand, he told me. I could do it for 5. And he was pretty proud of himself. He thought that was a flex. Until I did the math for him. 160 hours of plumbing at his rate, that's $144,000 of his time. He thought he was saving 25 grand. He was actually losing 119,000 net so that he could play plumber. And here's the deal. Every business leader alive has a Ken problem. Yours might not be plumbing. Yours might be running your own accounting books or managing your own calendar or posting your own content or building your own proposals or sitting in sales calls that your sales reps should be closing or answering the customer service complaints yourself. Every one of those hours is $20 to $35 an hour work. Every one of them that you do is costing you the $800 plus that you didn't earn doing the work that actually pays you. And for many of you, that hourly rate is a whole hell of a lot more than the $800 or $900. Doing it enough, if you do this enough, the compounding tax on a leader at Ken's level, at your level, runs into the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, millions of dollars a year for some of you. That's money that your kids' college fund could go to, your granddaughter's wedding could go to, your vacation home could go to, or that's funding for your second location, or the payroll to hire the expensive A player that would take you to the next level and free up your time, energy, and stress. And it costs you that amount every single year. That money is gone. Now, here's the hard truth underneath it all, as I explained it to Ken. You don't have a productivity problem. All of you are freaking productive. You have a role problem. You are still performing the job that you had when the business was 1/10 of its current size. You never updated your mental job description. The business grew up, but you didn't. And the muscle that got you here is the same muscle that is going to kill you. Are you following me here? That is the sentence that I want sitting on your chest. Let me say it again. The muscle that got you here is the same muscle that's going to kill you. Look, hey, I know most business leaders fight this tooth and nail. They tell me things like, well, the business isn't ready for them to step back, or the team can't handle it, or nobody can do it as well as I can. Malarkey. Any of that feel familiar? Listen to me here, okay? That's not truth. That's just ego wearing a work jacket. Your team can absolutely handle it. You just haven't built the scoreboard, the standards, or the system for them to handle it inside of. And until you do, you'll keep crawling under the sink, convincing yourself that you could just do it faster. Oh, and that you are quote unquote saving money. If you haven't done the math lately, let me give you the equation, okay? Write this down. Take your EBITDA, those are earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, or your net income, and divide it by 2,000 hours. That's the amount of hours that you spend a year. So simply put, if your EBITDA is $1 million, every hour of your work time needs to be worth $500. And that's just to stay even. If you want to make more, your time per hour has to go up in value. But calculate exactly what yours is and then calculate what it needs to be based on your income goal. Then ruthlessly delegate or delete anything that can be done by somebody at a lower hourly rate. I am certain this is not the first time you've heard this advice, but I am certain that you have forgotten it. As Samuel Johnson said, we need to be reminded more often than we need to be instructed. This reminder alone, if you leave this meeting unheeded, can change your week, change your quarter, your year, your future. Now, let me show you the same disease at a completely different altitude, okay? Because if you think that this is only a problem for an $8 million safety supply business, next I will introduce you to Jim. Jim runs a successful chiropractic clinic, a multi-doctor, multi-service practice, 50 plus years of his family name in his town. Jim himself is 59 years old. He has one house paid off, second house nearly there. He could sell his practice right now and be done. Financially, Jim has won the game. So when Jim flew in for our walk and talk, the business wasn't broken. The numbers were solid. Nothing was on fire. But here's what Jim's situation was. A neurology equipment company had just pitched them on a deal to open 10 satellite clinics. Of course, in all the projections, the numbers looked huge. The equipment company would finance half the build out, except for they would maintain ownership control, which I told him was a no-no. His father had once run multiple clinics, so 10 offices felt like destiny. Jim's gut kept saying 10. His mouth kept saying yes. His calendar was already filling up with site visits. I looked at him on the walk and asked one question. I said, Jim, if you opened 10 clinics tomorrow and every single one of them was profitable, that's a big if, would you be happier than you are today? Or would you just be busier, more stressed, and further from the adjustment room that you just told me is your true passion? Well, he went silent because he already knew. 10 clinics means 20 practitioners, none of whom will adjust patients the way that Jim does, none of whom will cultivate relationships the way that Jim does, none of whom will run the room the way that Jim does. And he will spend the next 5 years perpetually frustrated by their standards not being his. I said, Jim, you've already won. Your number one job now is don't screw it up. Don't destroy what you've already built. Now, this is the part that I need every leader here today to hear, because this is the insight Jim paid a lot of money to fly across the country to hear. The same ambition, the same drive, the same entrepreneurial fire that built your business is the same muscle that is about to destroy the freedom it was supposed to buy. You think, well, I can do it, therefore I should do it, therefore I will. That is the voice in your head. That voice built the empire. That same voice is about to set it on fire. And the higher up you go, the more dangerous that voice becomes. Because nobody in your world will stop you. Not your team, not your CFO, not your banker. Everybody around a successful leader is incentivized to say yes to the next expansion. The only person in the building who can say no is you. Here's the frame that I gave Jim. And this frame that I'm about to give you radically changed my life when it was given to me. I hope it does the same for you. Jim was certainly awakened by it, okay? So here's what to write down on your notepad. Design the life first. How do you want to live? Because in the end, that's all we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen. We are living. Decide how you want to live. And I'm not talking about hobbies and travel and vacations. I'm talking about your day in and day out work life. What do you want to have to do all day, every day? What do you want to have to talk about, think about, read about, research about, study about? What kind of people do you want to have to mix with as clients, as vendors, as employees, as partners? Do you want to have to travel or not? Do you want to have to dress formally or do you want to be able to dress casually? Do you want to have to give up your nights and weekends or not? Do you want to have partners and shareholders and investors or not? Believe it or not, all of those are lifestyle choices. You see, here's what most people do, particularly those with high ambition. They let their blind, shiny object ambition choose for them. They make their business the centerpiece of all their choices. And then they try to fit having a life around it. What I'm suggesting is a 100% flip of that model. With intention and wisdom, be clear about the life you want to lead, how you want to live it, exactly what that looks like. And then, with that as your core, you fit your business around that. Let that be the business decisions filter for you. So, as I did for Jim, I used myself as an example, okay? We are all like a mosquito living in a nudist colony. We don't lack for opportunity, only focus. I am constantly presented with opportunities, many of which would make me a whole hell of a lot of money, but would destroy my lifestyle. With the knowledge of exactly the lifestyle that I want to have, the no is fast and easy. It is why I no longer accept $65,000 an hour keynote invitations. It's why I don't do big in-person arena events. It's why I don't certify coaches or license my material. It's why I don't run around the podcast circuit, A-team, or write articles for other people's publications. It's also why I no longer invest in anybody else's company, sit on company or charity boards, or take on any partners. Now, look, I'm not prescribing my choices to you. Most certainly. I am only recommending that you decide with intention and experienced wisdom how you want to live day to day, week to week. And then let those decisions dictate what you say yes to and no to. I am telling you, it makes everything clearer and easier. There's no decision agony. There's no siren song that can tempt you. There's no guilt. Now, this is a hard lesson for most entrepreneurs to learn. It's called the two sides of the sword of ambition. You see, your ambition is awesome. It is what drove you to create the life that you have now, the freedom of choices that you've earned because of that success. The problem is that ambition keeps driving, and it drives many over a cliff. You'll wake up 5 years later, as Jim would have at now 64 years old, and realize, oh shit, he has a mountain of debt that he has personally guaranteed, significant liability exposure, an albatross of capital equipment, system infrastructure, employees, creditors, and demanding patients, all sitting on his chest. As he looks out the window to his backyard, getting ready to rush off to his attorney's office for yet another deposition, He'll see his pool boy back there and realize the pool boy has more freedom than Jim does. The wisdom here is you want to use your ambition to drive you to the line of the life that you want. And then you have to have the wisdom to not let it drive you past that line, as it will destroy the very freedom it helped you create. And the way you do that is you design the life first. And I'm not talking about golf and pickleball and that shit. I'm talking about what you want to do when you get up every day, the routine, who you want to see, how you want to dress, what do you want to talk, the work life, along with your personal life. And then you use that filter to make all of your business choices. That, my friends, will save your life. Literally. Now, if you want to learn how to build the systems in your business that allows you to have a high growth, high impact enterprise, because we still want to win the game while also maintaining lifestyle freedom, that is why you need to be at this coming BMC. I will hand you the playbook and equip you with the systems. So register if you haven't already. Now, Jim's clinics weren't the only thing that we walked through that day. There was a second conversation that hit even harder than the 10 clinics one ever could. And I'll share this piece because it will hit many of the leaders watching right now, right in the solar plexus, for one reason or another. Let me explain. Let me get a little lube. That was for you, Cody. Yes, lubing up. So Jim has a son named Jonathan, and Jonathan is in chiropractic school in New York. The succession plan has been well assumed that Jim took over the practice from his father, and Jonathan would take over for Jim. That way, the family practice continues, Jim and Dad's legacy is preserved, and everyone is happy. But are they? I didn't make any assumptions. I only asked the uncomfortable question, and it was this. Is Jonathan becoming a chiropractor and taking over the practice because it's his passion and his calling, or is it because it's yours and he loves you? A long pause ensued, and in the silence of Jim trying to recover from the question, I told Jim about what my sister and I went through trying to fulfill the wishes and dreams of our father. Our dad wanted us to be successful, of course. And he was pretty basic, so he only knew two professions that were at the top of the societal totem pole: doctor and lawyer. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, it was quickly discovered that I faint at the sight of blood. So, doctor was out. And by default, lawyer it would be. So I picked a school that would be best suited for that path. I lined up all the poli-sci classes to go in that direction. But thank God, baby Jesus, entrepreneurship intercepted my path and gave me the propulsion to go in a different direction. But my sister wasn't as fortunate. She was still following the programming, fulfilling the wishes of the father. She graduated from university. It took her 4 years plus to get through law school. She took the bar exam and failed. She took it again, failed. She took it again, failed. She took it a fourth time, failed again. Why? It wasn't that she wasn't smart enough. It was just she didn't really resonate with it. She struggled with it constantly. The reality is, just like me, she wasn't suited to be a lawyer. She had no real passion for it. It wasn't her calling. It was her father's. My sister is now over 50 years old, and she still hasn't fully recovered from this. My sister does have many passions, and she is really capable, but she was not given the emotional and psychological freedom particularly in her exploratory phase and emerging adulthood, to discover and find her own identity. And it wasn't her fault, it was our Father's. And in truth, it wasn't his either. He was just doing what he thought was best for her, when that was really something he needed to leave to her to find and figure out on her own. Here's the deal. Listen to me, parents. Sons and daughters absorb their parents' expectations before they can even name them. I know that it's not rational, it's primal. And this is especially deep between father and son. I think this deeper explanation will be very helpful for all of you who are fathers, as well as those of you who are sons of your father. There is a well-worn maxim that says you can always understand the son by the story of his father, as the story of the father is embedded in the son. You can think of it like this. A son grows up inside the unfinished story of his father. Now, why is that? How does this happen? Before the son ever makes a choice, a few powerful forces are already shaping him. One is modeling. A son learns to be a man by observing his father. Number two, approval and rebellion. A son spends years trying to answer one question: am I enough in my father's eyes? Some sons try to win that approval by becoming like him. Others try to escape it by becoming the opposite. But either way, the father is still the source code. Even rebellion is a form of inheritance. And then number three, the unfinished legacy. Often the son spends their entire life either repeating the father's story or trying to resolve it. That is why, when you really study a man, you eventually find yourself studying his father. Not because the son isn't his own person, but because the starting point of his identity was built inside that relationship. And this is why more than half of the family succession stories that I watch end badly. Not because the business even dies, but because the soul of the receiver does. No matter their age, they are children doing their darndest to fulfill the dreams and wishes of their parents. They are doing it out of love and obligation, not out of their own true passion and interests. And then they'll spend the next 20 to 30 plus years silently, even unconsciously, resenting the parent who gave it to them. So, what was my advice to Jim? No, it wasn't to take chiropractic and taking over the clinic away from Jonathan. I don't know what Jonathan's true passion and interests are. But it was to advise Jim to test him, to challenge him, to make him fight for it, to see if he really wanted it. I said, sit Jonathan down and tell him you do not need him in the business. That in fact, it would be better for you and him and your relationship if he did not get into chiropractic and did not take over the practice. It would be better for the whole family to sell it to a disassociated third party. It would be cleaner, it would be simpler, and it would be better financially. And then watch carefully how he responds. If he really wants it, he will fight instantly and passionately. If he doesn't, that's your tell. And regardless, even if he does in the moment fight, make him think about it. Tell him you will love and support him either way. But it's his choice to make. And give him at least a week to really process this request. The key line here is this: do not rob your kid of their own life by handing them yours. And you might be doing this absolutely unintentionally. So you really got to check yourself here. Okay. Deep stuff, right? Okay. Glad that you showed up. All right. In this next one, let me take you into back to making money now. Okay. There is a six-figure conversation that is sitting on your desk right now. And it's one that you have been avoiding probably for over a year. It's with one of your best customers, and it's worth more money to your business than any new product, any new hire, or any new marketing channel that you are considering. Okay. Let me prove it to you. So Dan runs a political marketing firm. He has a team, a total of 4 people. When he first came to BMC 3 years ago, he was doing around $1 million in revenue. Dan has been to our BMC 6 times since then. And last year, Dan did 10.5 million at a 38% EBITDA. Do the math. Dan's doing well. That's a hell of an ROI on his BMC investments. Now, here's the kicker. Dan only works on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 in the morning to 10 in the morning. Fridays, he's on his farm with his 3 kids. 9 hours of work a week, 10.5 million in revenue, $4 million taken home to mama. I asked Dan on our walk, so what BMC strategies did you use between year 1 and year 3? He looked at me a little sheepishly and says, Darren, just one idea and one conversation. I said, which? He said, you taught me the fastest, easiest, and most profitable way to grow is doing more with your existing customers. So I called up our number 1 client and explained the 5 other things that we could do for them, solving their greatest performance challenges. So instead of just being their vendor, I became their partner in improving their most important results. And the short of this is Dan was buying their media, earning 20% on their media spend. But now he produces their entire strategy, all the messaging, channel distribution, the whole surround sound campaign. So on the same client spend, the client's not spending any more money. Dan moved from 20% commission to a 50% full service commission. Revenue from that one client more than doubled. We're talking millions. One conversation. And that set the trajectory for his entire firm, going from 1 million to 10.5 million. Now think about this for yourself. The next $40, $50, $100,000 in your business, it's not from selling in a new lead source. It's sitting in a conversation with a client or customer who already trusts you. Here's what I want you to hear about this one, okay? Dan didn't grow his business by learning to post on X and TikTok and Instascam, or by starting a blog or a podcast, or by getting better at SEO or AIO, or by putting up billboards, running ads, or doing trade shows. He simply learned to reposition his relationship with those already in his care. Dan's growth came from changing one conversation. Now, the next 2 leaders had a different problem entirely, but was rooted in the same cause. And we'll call this idea, show me the incentives. Let me take a sip. So here's what I had to say to both these 2 leaders. Your team is not lazy. Your team is not disloyal. Your team is doing exactly what you are paying them to do. The problem is that you are paying them to do the wrong thing and you don't even notice. So that's what I had to tell 2 elite leaders during our walk and talks. 2 different leaders, 2 different industries, same story. Okay? I'll tell you about George first. Okay? George runs a industrial valves company that keeps commercial ships and rigs operational. Multi-generational business, very serious numbers. George came to our walk and talk hot. He said, my managers are resisting the new scorecard system. They're dragging their feet. They're calling it bureaucracy. I don't know what to do with these people, he said. I asked George how he explained all of this to them. And it quickly became clear why they wanted no part of his new quote unquote control and accountability system. By that explanation, they had zero incentive to implement these systems. No upside, all potential downside. Of course, it failed. The advice was how to introduce the system. Certainly not as a mechanism for control or accountability, even though that is what it actually accomplishes. Instead, as clarity and recognition for each team member. The rollout should focus on how the system benefits them, the team member, not management, how it gives them clarity of contribution and visibility into the impact that they're making. So finally, now, their hard work, their progress, and their achievements, all that usually goes unnoticed. All that now becomes celebrated. The message to the team now becomes this helps everyone see your impact. This helps us all celebrate your wins. And this helps us to be able to reward and promote based on the progress you're making. Not, we're installing accountability. We're monitoring performance. This is the new reporting system. Those outcomes happen anyway, but they are the byproduct, not the headline. So here's the takeaway framework to write down, okay? If you got pen and pad, get ready. Clarity plus visibility equals accountability. Multiplied by incentives equals improved behavior performance. If you didn't get it, let me say it one more time. Clarity plus visibility equals accountability. Multiplied by incentives equals improved behavior performance. Now, 2 weeks later, I walk with Zach. Zach is the CEO of a medical device company selling into hospital systems. By the way, when Zach first came to BMC, he was a salesperson for the company of which he is now CEO of. What he applied when he came back from his first BMC worked so well, the owner made him CEO. And he's been to BMC now 10 times. Now, why in the world would you go 10 times, you think? Well, here's why. Using BMC strategies now as the brand spanking, don't know what the hell I'm doing CEO, Zach doubled the business and then redoubled it again. And then, redoubled it again. It's been worth tens of millions of dollars in rewards. So that's why he keeps coming back. Now, Zach is in a completely different industry than George, and his problem is entirely different. But the root cause of his problem is the same as George's: misaligned incentives. Zach says to me, my sales team refuses to sell the flagship product. I've pushed, I've done the pep talks, but they will not move the product. So it's the same frustration by both leaders. My people won't do what I'm telling them to do. And it's the same diagnosis in both cases. It's never the people, it's the incentive. As Charlie Munger taught me, a lot of behavior that looks irrational is actually perfectly rational once you understand the incentives. He'd say repeatedly, show me the incentives and I will show you the outcome. Which means if you don't like the outcome that you're getting, and it doesn't matter from whom, from your spouse, from your kids, from your employees, from your neighbors, look at your incentives. So I asked Zach simply, what does the comp plan pay on the flagship product versus the other products? He said, well, commissions are calculated on ticket price. So then I asked, okay, well, what are the differences in ticket prices? He answers, well, the secondary products have a higher ticket price than the flagship product. I said, bingo. His sales reps were selling the product that made them the most personal money, which happened to be the products that made the company the least amount of money. They weren't lazy. They weren't disloyal. They were brilliantly optimizing the game that Zach himself had designed for them to play. Never underestimate the power of incentives to drive behavior. If you get the incentives wrong, no amount of intelligence or pep talks or motivation or effort will fix it. That is the entire game of running a team, of running a household, of running a charity, of any running of people on the planet. If your team is not doing what you want them to do, you don't need a new team. You need to look at the scoreboard, the reward system, the incentive system. Whether the rewards are monetary, which you'd probably be surprised to find out is one of the least motivating incentives, or whether it is recognition or attention or status or respect or hierarchy climbing or competition winning or self identity or whatever. And ask yourself the uncomfortable question. Given how I have structured the rewards, are my people doing exactly what benefits them the most? Because we are all self motivated. The answer will be almost always yes. Of course it is. Which means the problem is actually not them. The problem is the game you've designed or not designed, and you're just leaving it to chance. Let me make this concrete for your business, okay? There are a half dozen incentive misalignments that I see every single week. You want your salespeople to prospect. You pay them only on closed deals. So they spend all day babysitting the existing opportunities. You want your marketing to generate qualified leads. You reward them for volume of leads so they flood the pipeline with junk. You want account managers to grow relationships. You pay them on new sales only, so they ignore existing clients. You want recruiters to find great talent. You measure them on speed to hire, so they lower the bar. You want service to upsell. You measure them on call time, so they hang up faster. You want the team to report the truth, but you get defensive or push or punish bad news, so they bury it. Every one of these is a misaligned incentive. As Charlie explained to us, the main lesson that I've learned, this is Charlie talking, the main lesson that I've learned is that incentives are what drives behavior, not good intentions. So on day 2 of BMC is where I walk you through how to package, position, and communicate your incentives of your business to your customers to get them coming to you versus having to continue to chase them. And then day 3 of BMC is where I walk you through the exact sequences to redesign the incentives in leading your team. Here's what every leader eventually has to confront. Your culture is not built by your speeches. Your culture is built by your incentives. Not by what you say you value, but by what you reward. Not what you announce in meetings, but what moves the scoreboard or the reward system in your tribe. Because people are incredibly rational when it comes to incentives. They watch the game, they study the rules, and then they optimize how to win. So if the outcome isn't what you want, the first place to look is not the people. It's the incentives driving the people inside the game. Look, you want to look at the scoreboard that you've built. You want to look at the rewards that you've attached to it. You want to look at what behavior the system is subtly encouraging every single day. Design the game right, and you don't have to push people because the system will pull them. All right. Let me bring this all home, okay? Where are we? Yeah, perfect timing. So 5 leaders, 5 patterns, 1 route. Their business had outgrown the system it was built on. The muscle that got them here was the same muscle that was about to break them. The cure wasn't more effort, more hustle, or more hours. The cure was a cleaner, tighter, recalibrated playbook. Better structure, better positioning, better incentives, better systems, better tools. Not intensification, recalibration. That's the whole job. Now, let me clarify something important here, okay? Because many people misunderstand what BMC actually is. They think that it is a 3-day virtual event. 3 days of training, taking some notes, get inspired, and then Monday morning comes and you're back in the same business with the same problems. That is not what BMC is. The 3 days that we spend together are simply the kickoff. Think of it more like installing a new operating system for your business and then getting support to operate it for an entire year. Because ideas themselves don't change businesses. Execution does. So instead of sending you home with a notebook, we build a system that executes with you and for you. And then we sit next to you, guiding you all along the way for an entire year. There are 3 layers of support for this full year system besides the 3-day kickoff BMC experience. The first layer is the MVP AI portal. Every strategy that you learn inside BMC is paired with an AI execution formula. More than 500 strategic executions, hiring scorecards, sales audits, comp plan redesigns, onboarding systems, customer journey maps, competitive teardowns, over 500. Now, here's the important part. You do not need to know how to use AI. You do not need to learn how to prompt engineer. You do not need to experiment with all these different models. You can think of the MVP AI portal as the layer that sits above every other AI platform on the market, above ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, or whatever. And if you can copy and paste, you can generate expert level strategic work in minutes. Work that normally requires consultants or an internal strategy team that would cost you millions of dollars in payroll. If you tried to hire the experts to produce the output, these formulas, you'd be looking at $1 million to $2 million in payroll, and you get a full year access to it with your registration for free. The second layer, the Hardy Bot, your strategic 24/7, 365 advisor. The Hardy Bot is trained on every framework that I've built over the past 35 years, every book that I've written, every keynote I have done, every strategy system I have developed. So when you're in the middle of something, Hardy Bot is there. You have a strategic question at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, Hardy Bot has an answer. You're prepping for a board meeting Sunday morning, Hardy Bot can help. If you're stuck on a comp plan redesign at 3 a.m., HardyBot can lay out the structure in minutes. It's the closest thing that you have to me sitting in the passenger seat of your business without you having to fly out for a walk and talk. And then the third layer, and this one is critical, associations. Because no serious leader wins alone. You also receive a 1-year pass into the Hardy Club. And this is where the leaders who go through BMC stay connected. Inside the Hardy Club, we run ongoing live AI workshops, not just for you, but for your team. So your entire organization is leveling up alongside you. We host industry meetups, private briefings, and conversations with leaders sharing what's actually working right now. Hardy Club is where iron sharpens iron. Because of the pace of business is accelerating so fast right now, and the last place you want to be is having to figure all this out on your own. So when you look at BMC the right way, it is a complete growth system. 3 days to install the playbook, then a full year inside the support system. The MVP AI portal, the HardyBot Strategic Advisor, the Hardy Club Leadership Network. And this is the part that most people underestimate, okay? You're getting access to me and the frameworks that I've built over 35 years, drawn from sitting knee to knee with the greatest business leaders of our time, unprecedented access to the greatest business leaders of our time, and the insights from advising more than 11,000 CEOs and business leaders. And now you're getting all those frameworks auto-executable through an AI system that we've built, and you're getting access to all my contacts, already curated and gathered together inside the Hardy Club, willing to help and share what they're doing right now to win. All for less than what most businesses spend a month on janitorial service, on a single CRM software seat in Salesforce or HubSpot, or on a $25 an hour part-time assistant. Yet, this is the investment that improves every implementation that you make about strategy, marketing, hiring, and growth. Now, let me leave you with this, okay? I started my first business when I was 18 years old, which means that I have been in business for 37 years now. And I'm telling you, this is the most exciting time to be alive in business ever. The opportunities are endless. A two-person team can now do what a 50-person team did 3 years ago. A first-year founder can compete head-to-head with a 30-year incumbent. A small business in a small town can scale to a global enterprise without ever leaving town. That's the upside. But don't mistake the other side of the coin as well. The vulnerabilities are also endless. Categories that you've dominated for decades are about to be repriced overnight. Competitors that you've never heard of are building AI native operations in their basement. Playbooks that worked for 20 years are losing their grip every quarter. This is the moment right now. So, right now, you're sitting in one of two futures. In one, you close this tab and you go back to the same playbook that is already starting to crack. You work harder, you squeeze in more hours, you tell yourself that this quarter is just a phase. And 18 months from now, when a competitor you've never heard of has taken a slice of your category, you'll wonder how it happened so fast. In the other future, you register before this hour ends, not because you're impulsive, because you see what's coming and you refuse to be displaced by it. It's that second version of you that I built BMC for. The leader who chooses the life they want first and builds the business around it. The one who stops being the highest paid plumber in their own company. The one who stops letting their ambition drive them past the line of life and freedom that they actually want. The leader who recalibrates while everybody else just intensifies. That is who walks out of the 3 days next week, not the same leader who walked in. Now, I cannot make that decision for you. I can only show you the door. And behind that door is the playbook, the systems, the room, and 35 years of strategic experience ready to install in your business by Wednesday night. Otherwise, you keep the tools that you came in with and you take your chances with what's coming. The choice is yours. But I have done my part as your steadfast, trusted advisor to give you the best advice that I can here today. So I will see you at BMC or I won't. Either way, I do hope that you got tons of value out of this hour together. So with that, I turn it back to you, Bab.
All right. Yes, you're probably wondering why he keeps calling me Bab. My name is Brenda. We'll just keep that going. James Blakemore, I see you. I bet you're signing up for BMC. I'm watching you look at a screen. My guess is you're signing up. I see you. James is a former HPF BMC alumni. I bet he's excited to come back in. So this is the part where Mariana, hey, why don't we go ahead and turn the chat back on for the lovely folks at home so that they have an opportunity to do what they came here for and ask me questions, right? So go ahead, fill up that chat with questions. Mariana will bring you up if you want to raise that digital hand. This is practice for BMC, by the way, where we do interact and engage with you. So there's that great little reactions button down at the bottom. If you have a question for me, please feel free to raise that digital hand and Mariana will bring you up here to talk. Now, don't be shy. This is your opportunity. You're here. Don't waste it. I'm happy to take on any questions you might have. Other than that, like Darren said, his hand is out. It is up for you to grab it. So don't be shy. Grab it. See us at BMC on Monday. We're really excited. It's going to be one you do not want to miss. So Mariana, is anybody asking me any questions? This is like the shy game. That's okay. It's all right. I can talk for a few more minutes. Oh, it's already 11 o'clock. Do we just say goodbye? Or does Allie want to ask me a question? I feel like she's just smiling really big over there.
I got a question in the chat that I can throw at you. So it says, can this work for growing a coaching business?
Well, I don't know. If your coaching business is looking for more clients, could it work for that? If your coaching business is wanting to get more people to coach or build more coaches, Darren calls it a barrel of fish strategy. So my suggestion is if you're looking to grow that, then yes, this is for you. Do you need more brand strategy? Do you need more marketing? Do you need more sales? If that is for you, yeah. If you want to learn how to build a culture with other coaches, then yeah, day 3. Oh man, you'll love day 3. Hopefully that answered your question. So I'll see you at BMC on Monday. Who's next? Anybody?
We had somebody, an alumni, ask the cost for attending. So what is the cost for BMC alumni to attend virtually?
Ooh,
I guess he was an HPF.
alumni. Oh my goodness, HPF. Well, welcome back. Glad to have you. Our team will reach out to you specifically because you, as an HPF alumni, do get special treatment and pricing. So make sure Emerald or somebody who has the alumni link, please find them and send them that. Alumni, let's go. Welcome back. Anybody else? Let's see. Oh, David Green. I love seeing your comments. First BMC last year, listened intently, learned everything I could, leaned in, and accountability group grew our business over 250%. See you at BMC 44 for a refresh. I love that. Congratulations. Well done. Let's see. Anybody else, Mariana?
Nobody with raised hands and no more questions in the chat that I see.
All right. Well, all I can tell you guys is coming from somebody who has actually been on a walk and talk kind of to the side with Darren. Darren happens to be my 13-year-old daughter's pen pal. Now, these guys have been pen pals for probably 5 years now. And she requested a walk and talk with Darren. Now, she's not an elite, so because of me, she was able to get the special honor of being on a walk and talk with him. And I can tell you guys, it is an incredible opportunity to just see the way Darren engages. And you got to hear behind the scenes of what that was like. And I did too, because I am never a fly on the wall, except for when he did one with my daughter, which she has a goal book and a journal from Darren where she is tracking everything. Guys, Darren always tells you they're listening and they're starting small. So what you put forth and how you bring your family up, I mean, be the example, come to BMC, read the compound effect, and you'll be just fine. So if there isn't anything else, Mariana, I think we just wrap up this incredible opportunity that we had today. And who's coming to BMC? Anybody want to raise that digital hand? James, I see you. So you must have been registering. I love that. Stuart, Missy. Okay, great. Good to see Missy. Anybody else? Put I am there in the chat. I will love to see that and call you out right now. Lewis, I see you. Welcome back. Glad to have you. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us today. I hope you got as much out of it as I did. It was so great to hear about George and Zach and Jim. I mean, these are incredible humans, guys, that are inside the Hardy Club that you would be able to have connection with. So don't miss the opportunity. Another thing that Darren has said that I have said to my kids every day is you are a combination of the 5 people you hang around. So if you're looking to level up your 5, this is the place to do it. So we hope to see you at BMC on Monday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.